Welcome to the Mindfulness Meditation. I invite you to find a place of comfort, whether it's seated, back straight, or lying down, face up. Allowing yourself a little bit of time to settle in and get comfortable, shifting your body to wherever it feels most comfortable for you. And owning your mat, which means settling in, almost as if we were to take a snow globe that was all shook up from all the momentum of getting here and just setting it down for a moment. Letting all those snowflakes, all that activity, thought, emotion, sensation, just kind of settle in for a moment. And as those snowflakes settle to the bottom, beginning to enjoy the clarity that comes after that. We take the momentum of the year. It's been kind of an interesting year. The momentum of the month, the week, the day, the morning. And just like a car coming to a stop, just allowing everything to shift forward and come to a full stop. Settling in, feeling how we're seated on the earth at the moment, owning our mat. And now I invite you to close your eyes. And if that's not comfortable for you, perhaps maybe looking down about 45 degrees and kind of just unfocusing a little bit, just in the sense of limiting one other aspect of information, so that we can pay attention more fully to the other things that we're focused on. And let's begin by bringing our attention, if you would, to the nostrils and the breath coming in and out of the nostrils, breathing in, breathing out, being aware that we're breathing in, being aware that we're breathing out. And with our next breath, I invite you to scan through the entire body slowly. Just noticing any areas of tension, areas of uncomfortability. And as we're breathing in and out with each breath, allowing ourselves to let go intentionally of as much as we possibly can let go of. At the same time, we want to acknowledge those parts of us that are not necessarily wanting to let go. And with the next breath, breathing a little bit more space down there where the spirit's crunching the bone, and just creating a little bit more cushion of space for whatever's actually here. Not pushing anything away, not grasping anything towards us, not judging anything, just allowing ourselves to experience what's here now. Acknowledging what we're bringing into this meditation, whether that be in thought, emotion, or sensation. As we pay attention to the breath at the nostrils, I invite you to pay attention to the temperature of the air coming in and coming out. And if you will, you'll notice that the temperature coming in is a little bit different than the temperature coming out as it's warmed by the body. I would also invite you to begin paying attention to perhaps the humidity of the air. Noticing, as if you were a human barometer, just what the moisture content is in the air at this moment, from 0 to 100. And noticing how that may be different, perhaps from being inside or outside, depending on where you are at the moment. I would also encourage you to bring your attention to the sound of your own breath. Just getting in touch with the ebb and flow of the breath coming in and going out, being aware of the in-breath as the in-breath, And the out-breath is the out-breath. Much like the waves of the ocean, we can watch the breath. You know, that moment that you go to the beach and you're finally unpacked and perhaps even you have a cool drink in your hand and there's nothing to do and nowhere to be and nobody needs you necessarily for anything. But just to be able to sit there and watch and listen to the ebb and flow of the waves and listen with your own breath. You can take that with you anywhere. Breathing in and breathing out. This breath, as we keep paying attention to it, is such a remarkable thing. If we were to personify it, it's probably one of the best friends of our life, because as we really examine it and observe it, it's been with us since we were born. It'll be with us until we die. It laughs when we're happy. It cries when we're sad. It's literally physically holding up our life at the moment. As far as friends go, I would say it's a pretty good one. And so let's honor that friendship by truly bringing our focus and our attention to it. Just the breath is enough. Breathing in and breathing out. And as we continue our journey watching the breath, we can notice and pay attention to the breath as it goes in through the nostrils and down the back of the throat, into the chest, with each breath watching the rib cage rise and fall, feeling the lungs expand and collapse. Feeling the diaphragm contract and release. It may even be helpful to place one hand on top of the belly, breathing all the way down into the belly, like a raft on a wave, just watching the belly expand and collapse. So many different places in the body and different sensations to pay attention to with just the breath. If we're sitting and our back is against a chair, perhaps feeling the pressure as we breathe in. If we're lying down, the same can occur as we press more firmly with the breath into the earth. We acknowledge that the breath is coming in the lungs and it's exchanging good air for bad. And as it's exchanging, it's also exchanging with the heart. And just notice for a moment if we can get in touch with our heartbeat. Doesn't matter if we can't, just notice if we can and observe what's there. All experience of whatever we're noticing is fine. But then just wondering a moment, paying attention to as we breathe and the heart beats, how it's sending that blood through the arteries out to the capillaries. And now I invite you to bring your attention to the largest organ in the body all the way out to the skin. Covers all of the external of the body. And begin paying attention to that and just feeling the aliveness of it. Noticing the parts of the skin that are open to the air, the parts of the skin that are covered by clothing, and perhaps of those pieces that are covered by clothing, noticing the texture. Checking in with heat and cold. Checking in with sensations of pleasantness or unpleasantness, or neither pleasantness or unpleasantness, or possibly numbness or no experience whatsoever, all our actual experience. Just being with whatever's here. Seeing if you can get in touch with your present aliveness and what you feel and are sensing from the skin. Bringing the attention back to the breath, again checking with the sound of the breath. I invite you to explore your awareness of sound, which you're playing this on a device, so it's going to come out of that device, whether in a headset or headphones or speakers in a particular way. If you were here with me, then you would notice that my voice is bouncing or echoing very slightly off of the walls of the room that I'm recording in. What other sounds may be going on? And maybe there's no other sounds and that's your experience. Perhaps there's the sound of an AC unit or the slight buzz of machinery off in the distance or even close. Or perhaps if you're really paying attention, you might even pick up the occasional rumbling of a car or truck off in the distance. What sounds are here for you? And as you're paying attention to sound, can you become aware of the silence that is holding up all the sound in the same way that a blackboard could hold up chalk writings, listening to the power and the presence of that silence holding up all the sound? I'm going to invite you to come back to the breath at the nose, breathing in and breathing out, being aware that we're breathing in, being aware that we're breathing out. Breathing is such a powerful frequency of awareness, giving us so much information about our current state of being. Because if we're really struggling, the breath begins to harshen. And when we can relax back into a state of flow, the breath often relaxes also. Breathing in and breathing out, just the breath is enough. I'll now invite you to become aware of the landscape of thought. Just noticing how thought is showing up. We certainly don't want to just try to stop thought. That's like thinking about the purple elephant. Boom, there's a purple elephant. But just acknowledging the landscape of thought that's here now, like bubbles in a clear blue sky, allowing them just to be floating around without attaching to them or without pushing them away. Just observing what's here at the moment and allowing it to be exactly what it is. No pressure, no expectations, just observing what's here now. And then shifting into your emotional landscape. What do you feel? Is that a residual of what your morning's been like? Is that based off of any thought that you're having or have had? Did something else just pop into your mind that's carrying you away from noticing how you're feeling in the body? And whatever way that you're feeling, where are you feeling it? What's trying to grab your attention most? And can you just observe that and create a little space between you and it in such a way that it doesn't carry you away? And when and if you need a place to anchor, just bringing your attention back to the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Being aware that we're breathing in, being aware that we're breathing out. Just the breath is enough. To explore this just the breath is enough, with the next breath, or maybe the next one or two breaths, I want to encourage you and invite you to take a very large breath. And as soon as you're comfortable taking that very large breath, hold it. Hold that breath. And while you're holding that breath, imagine now if you could never breathe again, that this was your last breath, that the next breath that you're going to take, how sweet that breath is going to taste if you could never breathe again. And hold it as long as you can, but when you're ready, take that next breath and now taste how sweet that breath is. And how just by paying attention to something as simple as breathing, we can immediately be flooded with aspects of gratitude. I can breathe and be free to breathe again. Breathing in and breathing out. Just enjoying the power of the presence of paying attention to breathing. as we choose something to pay attention to in a meditation, in a practice of mindfulness, our mind may want to wander away. And as soon as you notice it wandering away, don't get mad at it. Don't react to it. Just with compassion and kindness for yourself, bring the mind back to whatever it is that you were intending to focus on at that particular moment. If that's the breath, or sensation, or thought, or emotion, or sound, or taste, or smell, or whatever input of sensation that is occurring in the now that you were monitoring, just gently bring it back to that. And I encourage you to cycle and test and try on different sensations, different aspects of how you perceive what's going on in your reality. How are you sensing what's going on 10 to 20 feet around you? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? All of the senses. Any sensation. There are no wrong answers. Our job is just to be with what is here without judgment, while continuing to feed ourselves loving intent, loving kindness, and compassion, giving ourselves a break. Going, hey, I'm paying attention to things at the moment. I'm negotiating. I'm negotiating with my body, and if I need to move to get more comfortable, I can. At the same time, we can negotiate with what it's like to be still. And while you have compassion for yourself, keep trying on different aspects of moving into your edge, moving into your range of stress resilience. What makes you comfortable and uncomfortable? And if you notice your mind wanting to go somewhere else, what would happen if you kept it where it was at and didn't react? What would occur next? And in this way, we can continue grinding into our edge, or pushing our edge, or being with our edge, and breathing more comfort into that edge in such a way that we expand it and we develop it. And I invite you to come back to the breath. And as you continue paying attention to the breath, I encourage you to have a moment of gratitude for thankfulness for you being with you, you choosing to be with you in this particular way, to invest in yourself, to value yourself enough for you to observe and be with your body and say, I'm sorry, I've not been paying attention to you. I'm here now. Tell me what you need to. Breathing in and breathing out. May your practice bring you freedom from suffering. May your practice bring you true peace. May all beings everywhere have freedom from suffering and peace.